Hello, welcome to Adventures in Angular, the podcast where we keep you updated on all things Angular related. This show is produced by two awesome companies, Top End Devs and Envoyed. Top End Devs is where we create top end devs who get top end pay and recognition while working on interesting problems and making meaningful community contributions. Envoyed, which offers remote design and web development services with specialization in Angular for companies that truly care about quality. In today's episode, we will talk about, does college matter? So, we're going to talk about going or not going to college, and even levels in terms of, if you went to college, does the university that you went to, how much does it influence on your overall chances of getting a good gig? So yeah, that's gonna be our topic for today. My name is Lucas Paganini. I am the CEO and founder of Envoyed and your host in the podcast. Joining me in today's episode is Subrat Mishra.
Hello, everyone.
So, for those of you that may not know, Subrat has a YouTube channel, and this topic is coming because he recently did a video on exactly this topic. Does college matter? So, um, after listening to this episode, I highly suggest also checking out the video in his YouTube channel and also subscribing because he has a lot of interesting videos, not just about career advice, but also about advanced Angular techniques too. So there's a lot to learn there and a lot of things for free that truthfully he should be charging a lot because it's some really, really advanced content that I myself have a lot to learn from watching his content. So highly encourage you to check out Fun of Heuristics on YouTube. All right. So yeah, Subrat, let's get started. So I think we should
Yep.
tackle this in levels.
hmm
So kind of like I see at least four steps. There might be more as we go deeper, but I
Yep.
see like not going to college, and then the impact on that is going to differ from culture to culture. So I can speak from my experience with Brazilian and United States companies. Maybe you can talk about the experience from the countries in which
hmm
you work from, and then after that there is they went to college, they have a diploma, but it's not necessarily of a very renowned university. So
hmm
they have the degree in the area, but it's not a university that is going to ring a bell to most recruiters. Then there are country specific renowned universities and worldwide renowned universities like
Yep.
MIT, Stanford, etc. So, starting from the ground up, let's talk about just not going to college at all. Like, what is your experience in terms of how hard does it make for people entering the job market? And also, if there's any situation where this is like not even just making things harder, but it's a full on blocker. Like if you don't have a diploma, that kind of work you simply cannot get because everybody requires um, having a degree. What's been your experience so far with that scenario?
Yeah. Just before answering this question, I would just like to add a point on which points we're going to cover for the listener. We'll also going to cover like if you are not from a good college or if you haven't been from a great college and you are doing a job now, and how what should be the mindset so that you will be succeed uh, in your career. And coming back to your questions, uh, it depends on various countries. Maybe in terms of India, I can say, or maybe in terms of Europe. So India and Europe is completely different. So first I'll go as India. So most means approx 99% companies need a degree at least. They don't care about where you get the degree or which college you have studied, but you need a degree, maybe for software development. It should be any engineering degree. It should not be a computer science or IT or information technology. It should be any, like for example, I was a mechanical engineer. Similarly, a lot of people from my college got hired uh, in Infosys, and they don't check which degree, which stream you have degree on. And but currently, some companies are changing. Like new startup are coming to the market who doesn't really care about do you have a degree or not. Like some uh, job I saw with like people got a software job without having engineering degree. Like they are in commerce or they are from history, and they just changed their career and started doing software development, and slowly companies hired them, maybe from their GitHub profile or their past experience. So this is, I am saying, only for software development job. But if you compare with other jobs, that's a different scenario. Like it's complete different scenario. uh, so yeah, that's what for India. But for Amsterdam, it's quite different. But I can say about you Amsterdam because I'm in Amsterdam right now, and I don't have much experience though in other company. But where I'm working and related to similar level company, they do care about a degree if you are from other country. So suppose for my scenario, I need to have a degree or a master so that I will get a HSM visa to work here. So if I would not have a degree, I would not uh, have an option to come here and work in Amsterdam. But if you are a Dutch, like and that might be a different scenario for you. You just need to find a company which doesn't care about you have a degree or not. But that's, I think, but I think we'll go to the next question when we'll try to specify you should have a degree or not, like should you go to the college or not. But before that, I would like to hear about how it's in US and Brazil.
Definitely. And I think even before contextualizing US and Brazil, I think you touched on a very relevant point. Um, I was going to say an excellent point, but it's not excellent in this in the term that it's treating humans differently based on their nationality, but it is relevant
Yeah.
in terms that it is true and we need to face the world the way that it is. So um, I am a Brazilian, and doing work with international markets, looking for clients in Europe, in United States, you know that you are coming from an underdog position. You are coming from the position of you're somebody that is not from their culture, is not from the same country that they are. So you know that there are going to be obstacles first, legally speaking, in terms of logistics purely,
Hmm.
but there are also going to be a lot of prejudgment on others in terms of, oh, like there's an assumption that India developers are cheaper and the quality is lesser than of US developers, which is simply not true because your cognitive abilities and co-quality don't come from where you were born. They come from
Yeah.
the knowledge that you created and developed throughout the years and the effort that you put into it. But there is this preconceived notion, just like we talk about products being from China as if this was a lesser quality. Like, oh, this is
Yeah, it's popular
Chinese.
everywhere.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, but what does it matter if it's metal? The metal is the same in whatever place of the world, right? So we need to face this head on and know that if you're trying to do business with another country, you're trying to find a job overseas or in any other culture, you every single thing that could be disregarded for a native, it's probably gonna be considered for you if you don't have it. So having a degree to work for companies in other countries, definitely it's not just it helps, it might be a matter of if you don't have, then the doors are simply, most of them are going to be shut for you.
Hmm.
So and I think that it's really interesting that you said that even in India, companies, they do require a degree a lot. And my guess, and I might be wrong, but from my experience, there's a high correlation between whether the company asks for a degree or other forms of formal authority or not, based on if the work is going to be done for the company itself or for clients of the company. So if the company is an agency that is going to um, outsource your talent to other companies, then you having formal ways to attest your knowledge becomes more important because you are the product of that company. So,
Yep.
an India based agency that looks to have clients overseas, they need you to have a degree so that it's easier for them to sell you because you are their product. But if you're being hired for a company that you're going to work for a product that they are doing for like B2C or something like that, then I think in those scenarios, that's where you have the biggest chance of a degree not being super relevant because they're actually looking for the person that is going to solve their problem, not for the person that looking at their resume seems like the best hire. But
Hmm.
even in that scenario, it's gonna depend from company to company. But I think that's where you have the highest chance of finding a company that is not gonna care about your degree.
Yep, I think that is one more reason in India there are a lot of people with degree. So we have lot of like when you apply for a job, like for a suppose for a position of three software developer, maybe 3,000 people has applied, and as a filter criteria, you might be that might be the one filter criteria that you should at least should have a similar field degree. But yeah, as you told, a lot of companies outsource like a kind of a consultancy, and they need to pass their resources and prove them, okay, we have these resources from these colleges and all, and that's a good selling point for them to get a new client.
Yeah. So with regards to my experience with Brazilian and United States companies, in Brazil, I can say that most startups, they are not gonna care about your degree, but they might look for at least some form of formal authority. So maybe you did a boot camp, or they're gonna like look at the certificates that you have. Your so there are scenarios where just the portfolio is not going to be enough. You're going to need those certifications, but it doesn't need to be college level certification. It can be a boot camp or something like that. But in a lot of them, just your portfolio and showing, because your certifications can simply be certifications from online courses that you completed. If you have enough of
Hmm.
them and the courses have enough authority, then perhaps that's going to be enough. And then a combination of that and your portfolio, certainly. What I tend to do in my hiring process when I hire Brazilians is I consider all that to look for ways to find excellent professionals that wouldn't be found by other companies. So, for example, I don't care if the person has a college degree or not,
Mhm.
like at all. They can have like 0 degree independent of the area. I don't care. I'm not even gonna look at the courses that the person completed. I'm
Mhm.
simply gonna put them through practical tests and a practical project at the end, which is paid, by the way, even if the person doesn't get accepted. But that's my way of seeing the restrictions of other companies um, as an opportunity to hire excellent professionals that maybe are not being seen that way by other companies. But that does make my work a little bit harder when I am looking for clients, because then when I'm looking for clients and I have to showcase to them how awesome are the people that I hired, I sometimes don't have enough formal proof to
Mhm.
say like this person is really good. Look at those certificates. Look at this and that. Um, and most times, the people on my team have worked with me long enough so that I have case studies about each one of them, and then I can showcase the authority of each team member through their case studies that they did working for my company. But if the person joined recently and they just finished our internal training and ramping up program, then they might not have enough case studies. So that puts me in a position where it is really hard for me to sell this person to a new client. So I need to rely on including this person, which is already really good, but hasn't had the opportunity to have formal proof of that. I have to find ways to include this person in ongoing projects in which
Mhm.
the clients already know that they can trust our quality, and they don't care anymore about looking at the resume of our team members, because they already know that if they're at Envoy, they are good enough to work on their project. So it's a tricky situation, but I generally tend to lean towards making it easier to hire excellent professionals and making it harder to sell to the clients, because I think in the long term that's gonna make me a better team than looking for people that are easier to sell but maybe not so good in the practice. Then about US companies, I would say that it's the same feeling. So startups are going to be much more open to hiring engineers that don't have a degree,
Mhm.
but that's also going to depend on the industry. Of course, if you're looking to work in a more um, regulated industry, let's say like fintech
Yeah.
or medical services, then yeah, like I would say get a degree, because you're talking to people that they have, it's already the norm to them to have those formal verifications. So if you don't, it's gonna just be weird to them. Um, but if you're looking at martech or technology for education or data analysis, even like most recent technologies that are simply there's no formation because they're so new, for example artificial intelligence and crypto, then I think you're going to have a much easier time finding companies that are not going to care about your degree. But even then it's going to depend on the size of the company. As soon as they get to enterprise level or even mid-size, like 200 collaborators or more, then the chances of them looking for candidates with a degree increase dramatically, because they already have so many people that they are not really looking for the gems in all the
Mhm.
candidates. It's more of a statistical game at that point. So they, as soon as the company starts looking at their collaborators as numbers, and that's a transition. It's not like one day the directors wake up and let's look at everybody as a number. No, it's a transition. As soon as you start hiring more and more people, it becomes harder for you to look at them as individuals. simply because there's too many people. um, then as while you go through this transition, then it becomes harder for you to join the company without having a degree.
Yep. Yep. I think we should also cater on like as the time is changing, the world is changing. Someone should go to college or not. Like at least from our opinion,
Mm.
someone should go to college. And so I will try to give my opinion on this. Like I would prefer if you know everything about the uh, suppose you want to go for a software development, but you know that you can do software development for suppose you can learn Angular from YouTube or from any doing any courses and all. But still, you should go to a college because college doesn't only teaches you about technology, doesn't only teaches you about syllabus or engineering. College teaches you how to deal with your life, like mm, how you learn from multiple colleague in the sense I'm saying when you go to the company, how you learn from them, but in college you will learn from friends how to deal with assignments, how to deal with deadlines and all. So that all will help you a lot in your professional career. At least it helping me a lot in my professional career. And what I learned from college is like how to think basically. But if you so what happened, I don't know like the name, the actual scenario, but there is a god effect. uh Maybe the effect name is wrong. So what the effect is, suppose you have surrounded yourself by people who always says you that you knows everything, you can do everything, and then in your brain subconsciously you will think like I know everything, I will do everything, and it will going to pass. But when you will go and hit the market, it will be a hard wall. Then you face the situation. Then and after that you can go back to the college and all, but don't be in the god effect mode. At least you will go to the college, then you will know your potential because you will going to meet lot of people, like lot of young people with your age, and you'll know that where you good at, and you have various kind of option in your college, various things to explore. So even if you think college is not a good option, at least go to the college, spend 1 year or 2 year. After that, if you're thinking it's not, drop out. Like I'm not saying drop out, but if you think like, it's just waste of your money and you can do better than what you are getting from the college, then you can drop out and carry forward with your life. But at least enjoy the environment, learn from the environment. And I think most uh, big colleges, and like big colleges means MIT, Stanford, or in terms of India is IIT. In terms of technology, technical study, I'm saying the main benefit is the friends you get there, the networks you have in the time of your college and after you pass out, like the alumni network and all. And that shapes you a lot. That shapes you to have a big dream. That shapes you to, like suppose for example a a student from IIT might have a dream of opening a company just after uh, the fourth year or they got a degree. But from a small college, it's very hard for them to think like that, because they for them their environment is not like that. Their environment is just to have a job or just to uh, go to a like get get through the life, get a job, and then switch jobs and go forward. And that you will learn from good friends or good mentors. So it's a better way. Just go to the college and experience the environment, to have a mentor, have a good friends, and enjoy that time. What's your thoughts in that, Lucas?
I think it's really gonna depend on how comfortable you feel about recreating all those benefits that you would get from college in other ways. For example, it's not just
Yeah.
I think you touched on a lot of interesting points that people don't usually think about with regards to deciding if they want to go to college or not. So the first thing that you think is, what are you going to learn, technically speaking? But there's a lot of other things that are going to be part of the experience. There is the um, annoying but truthful fact that we need to learn to deal with doing things that sometimes we don't want to do and delivering them on the deadline.
Yeah.
So, like, as annoying as it can be to do a lot of projects that sometimes you're like, oh, I don't really want to do that. The thing is, when you actually join a company, there are going to be things that you don't want to do. You'd rather work in another project, but the company needs you to do that. And that's it. That's what it means to be a professional, is doing those things and delivering them well and on time. So you learn that through college. You also create networking with other people in the segment, which is going to help you to find good opportunities because they can recommend you after they also join the job market.
Hmm.
So I think it's a matter of how comfortable do you feel with regards to sales and entrepreneurship to figure out a way to not only learn through other methods, but also extract the benefits of networking and communication that you would get going to college without going to college.
Yeah.
Like, I, for one, feel very comfortable on that. Like, I have not, I don't have an engineering degree at all. I have a marketing degree, which honestly I almost dropped out because it was just so easy that I got bored, and it lasted 3 years and I didn't want to do the 3 years. So the first 1 year I was hyper focused and I learned everything that I could. I even like read books from the next semesters in that first year. And then in the last 2 years, I went to class, but I sat there studying programming during the marketing classes, and I still went well on all the tests because I had already studied all that in the first year. So to me, I didn't had all those benefits in terms of networking and even like learning to deliver engineering projects on time through college. I had that through other experiences, and I I am a very um okay person in terms of doing uncomfortable things,
Yeah.
that I can put myself in situations where I'm going to develop those other areas and find networking in other ways. But you have to really be honest with yourself, because what I'm saying here is not like I am, is not to say that me being the way that I am is better than being some other way. Is there are definitely things that other people do better than me, and there are better developers in the world than me. So I think it's a matter of understanding your strengths and looking for the kind of life and professional career that you want to have. If you see yourself as a very entrepreneur spirit, then it's going to be easier for you to reap the benefits of college without going to college. If you're a more contrived personality, then it's going to be way harder for you
Hmm.
to have all those benefits if you don't go to college, because college is going to put you in those situations whether you want to be in them or not. And if you are contrived, then you decide to not go to college, then you don't just need to want to have those experiences. You have to actively seek out them in environments that were not made for that. So it's way, way, way harder
Yep.
for you to have such experiences. But I, for one, do not regret at all not having an engineering degree, because during the period where I would learn and complete my engineering degree, I have done so much more. Like, I think I graduated in marketing when I was 20 or 21 years old, something like that. And right now, I'm about to turn 27 next week, August 15. So, if you think of a 5 or 6 year engineering degree, then if I had looked for an engineering degree right after my marketing degree, I would be getting the engineering degree like this year.
Yep.
But in this meantime, I have already became expert in a lot of programming technologies. I have, when I say expert, I say from the outside view, because I, for one, don't consider myself expert because I know how much I still have to learn on each of those things. But from the outside perspective,
Mm-hmm.
on some things I can be considered expert. I built my own company, like more than one company, in fact. And I'm not saying that to flex, but it's just look at the amount of experience that I had in the same time span that I would have spent on college. So to me, I think it was a good investment to not go to college. But it's totally going to depend on the career that you want to have, how do you see yourself, and how much comfort do you need, because it's very uncomfortable to go through this path. So I think that's how I would decide.
Yeah, like one point I would like to like reiterate upon, like what which I have said. It's not about doing a engineering job for engine going to engineering degree for engineering job. My point was just to go to any college, just to have the experience of like study with multiple people after you are 18. So when so mostly after 18 you get some sense in your brain that you can which you can relate and act upon like adult adultly. So after you are 18 you should have a experience of for example, like when you are in marketing school, you might have some assignment which you do in groups. Then from there you learn like how to manage groups. And so I'm not saying it will your curriculum will have direct impact in your career, but like staying in a hostel or working assignment in a group, working projects in a group, those kind of things, or like participating in events, participate like organizing multiple events in your college, those kind of things will shape you or shapes you for your future activities. Like it might have happened with you, like you might have like volunteered in some activity in your college, in your college time, maybe in marketing college
Mhm.
time, and that is helping you now. Maybe you are not like realizing that, but if you just uh, sit and think back, like maybe subconsciously it helped you a lot.
Could be. I think there's definitely um, chances of that being true. Yep. Um, well, now in terms of next steps, which is okay, you're going to college. Um, how much the actual college is going to matter?
Yeah.
And there are levels to that, but I think we can tackle everything in a single answer, because it's just a spectrum, right? Is how much authority the name of the college is going to have in the general public. So you can go from a neighborhood college, neighborhood known college.
Hmm.
You can go to a countrywide known college, to a worldwide renowned college such as MIT or Stanford. I think definitely, like, nobody's going to be crazy enough to say that this isn't going to matter. If you
Yeah,
have an engineering degree from MIT versus the university in your city that an international employer might not even have heard about ever in their entire life, of course, MIT is going to have a way heavier um,
impact, like,
impact. Yes, yes. But I think it's also a matter of in which point of your career are you going to use your degree the most to land an opportunity? Because when you're in your first stages, then you're gonna have to rely a lot more on your academic authority to land a job because you don't have work experience to show off. So that's what you have, right?
yep,
But after you've been in the job market for a while, then that starts to become less relevant. So if you go to a university that is not as strong as an MIT, Harvard, Stanford, whatever, then I think after your third work experience, that's going to become extremely irrelevant because the other employers are going to look way more to your work experience than the actual university in which you graduated. Whereas if you actually graduated in one of those really strong names, then even after your third or fifth work experience, that's still going to have some weight, especially if you do. But that's the thing. You can always have a okay university to get started, especially because not everybody has the luxury of saying that they can go and pay those universities if they want to, because even if you are able to join, you still have to pay huge tuition fees,
yep,
and it's simply not accessible for everyone. But you can always do the best that you can with the scenario that you have, and then if you really want to have the authority of such universities in your belt, you can have that through a master's program or something like that later on, which is actually going to have way more impact in your later career than just a degree. After you in your third and fourth work experience, having a master uh, at Princeton or MIT, Stanford is going to be way more important than having your degree.
yep. I think totally agree upon that. I think I would like to touch upon similar but a different aspect. Like, if you are deciding or if you're studying now to join a college, then go for the best which you can. In terms of, like, for MIT, Stanford, first you need to get the score, then you have to pay. There is various scenario, but for some university which are good, which you need not to pay much, but you need to score a lot more to go into them. So one approach, like one thing is, if you are studying now in your high school or before college, just study hard to go as good college as you can. But if you are already in not these colleges, MIT, Stanford, or anything, then, like, it's not the end. I just would like to say that it's not the end. So maybe 0.001% people goes there, and from there, uh, also not everyone get the job which the media exposed. Like, if you see the maybe on YouTube or LinkedIn or in the news that people are getting this amount of salary, like maybe a million or something, and that's mostly due to those are the 0.1% or 1% inside MIT or maybe inside Stanford. So not like the for for everyone it's not the same. But if you haven't go to a good college, what just think now what you can do now, like what how like just we have iterate over like what college gives you. Just try to like take advantages of that. Try to take advantages of current situation which you have in your hand and which you can control. Like try to be friends with a lot of good people who have similar mindset. Even if try to be friends with the professors who have like a who are expert the in the things which you want to do in your life. Like go with them, have a discussion about what you want to do and all. And professor usually helps, but you just need to approach them. And even if you have a like in a very small neighborhood college, your professor will be good because every university has a minimum criteria so that they can be a professor, so they are good. At least they, if they are not you don't like their way of teaching, but if you go and personally talk to them and personally have conversation, you'll know that they know a lot of things which you don't know. So instead of thinking of I didn't got a good college, I didn't have a so like I didn't got admission to MIT, or maybe from India point of view I didn't got admission to IIT and all. Because in India IIT is like too hard to get. It's not a, it's nothing related to the tuition fee. It's not the cheapest but not the expensive also, but it's too hard to get. uh, and it's a like a big thing to be in go to IIT for every engineering student maybe. But if you are not there or if you are not in MIT or Stanford or any prestigious college that matters, like just think what you can do now. And as Lucas said, uh, try like after 2 3 years or 4 year it will not going to matter a lot. Obviously, like if you are from suppose from MIT and you are going for a investor pitch and you will say that I am from MIT, there will be like a 20% inclined towards you because you are from MIT and you are doing a business. So they know that you have proved something in the past, and now you can do that this as well. But the way the approach here will be like it might uh, it might take a little more time to get a good investment. But if you show them traction, if you show them initial customers some revenue, you will get the you'll get the investment. I'm just saying about business point of view. For job, it doesn't matter at all. Like suppose you want to join Google, Facebook or Netflix or any companies, like after 2 3 years they don't even ask you about your college degree certificate. Like I joined Booking, I haven't given my degree certificate to them. I have given to a third party for verification though, like I had a degree or not, but just for the visa, but not for the company to join, because I had already experience with other companies, so they know that I know stuff. So that's all. Like you don't need to be worried about much. But if you are in if you haven't joined college, try to be in the best college as you can.
Yep, definitely. I think that's all in terms of general advice. Of course, each person is gonna have individual needs, so don't just listen to what we said and
Yeah.
make a
Hmm.
big life decision about whether to go to college or not. because maybe if we were talking to you directly and understanding your specific scenario, and where you want to be in the future, then maybe our advice would be different based on your particular needs. So just remember that we were giving advice to a broader audience and trying to say things that we think are going to apply to most people. So try to adapt that to your scenario and what you want to build, and then decide from there. But yeah, I 100% stand by everything that me and Subrat said. I think it is what I have considered to make my decision, and I think it was a good one, and it paid off in my scenario. And just remember that this is all
Yep.
statistics. Maybe you don't go to college thinking that you did an excellent decision, and then if you had went to college, you would have met somebody that opened a startup and became a billionaire, and you would be this his partner in
Yep.
this business. How are you ever gonna know, right? Like, that's it. You just, everything, every decision is a gamble, and you don't know what you are not getting from not going down that route, and you're just never gonna know unless you're Doctor Strange and you can try all the possibilities in the
Yeah, I
universe.
just about to say that, like, it reminds me like the end game thing when Hulk go to the I forgot the name, Doctor Strange teacher, the lady
Mm,
with the thing. He told her, like, it will now change the course of the time. So you don't know, like, if you do something, just have a effort to do something that might change your whole uh, course of your time.
yeah. And that also applies to the other side. Like, if you don't go to college, maybe that would have pushed you into putting yourself in more proactively putting yourself in situations where you would meet people, and then that's where you
Yeah.
would meet your future business partner or life partner. Who knows, right? So I think it's just make a decision and extract the best amount of value that you can get from it without looking back too much. I think that saying don't ever look back, it's unrealistic because we're humans and we're always going to wonder how things would have panned out if we had went into a different situation. But just make sure that you don't live yourself considering what could have happened. Just make sure that you do the best you have with the decisions that you have made and the scenarios where you encounter yourself in. So I think that's it.
Yeah, one
So,
more thing.
so Brett,
Yeah, one
anything
more
else
thing
you'd
I would
like to
like
say?
to say here is, uh, we are doing this podcast for vast variety of audience. Like, so suppose you are very strong and you can do everything yourself, then it doesn't make sense to go to college and have a structured syllabus with structured mindset of people. But judging that you can do it everything in such early age is hard. Like, if you are like 15 or 16, like, to judge that I can do everything in my life without having a particular structure is hard. But if you are 100% sure, like dead sure, then it's your wish what to do, what not to do. I think you are already clear and you don't need our advice for that. But if you are in a dilemma of, should you go to college, should you not, some of my friends are dropping out from college, should I drop out? I saw like Steve Jobs drop out and did good thing, Mark Zuckerberg drop out and did good. So should I drop out? If you have thought like that, then don't drop out. Just finish it, because it's not from your instinct. What I'm saying is, suppose if you are in college and you have a venture and you are not getting time at all to study, or if you have a hard time to give time to your study as well as to your venture or to your business, then it makes sense to drop out, because that you know that okay, I have something to run, and I know that I, like for you Lucas, like you had a company and you run that company, so you had the thing uh, to learn from. You learn in the practical way. Suppose you just dropped out from the college and don't have nothing. After you drop out, you thought, okay, I will do something and I will change the world. Just have a notion from maybe from social media. What I'm saying is I saw a lot of young kids having this thought that if some people, like one or three people have done, so I can also do it. It's quite hard in real life. So the easiest way and the safest way to, that's why we are suggesting everyone to go with a college degree. But if you know, which certainly if it can helps you without being a college, it's your wish.
All right. So, Brett, is there anything that you would like to advertise to the audience? Anything that you are working on that you think people should be aware of?
Yeah, I think mostly from my YouTube channel, like as we discuss about this. So usually I don't put videos like this. It's mostly on straight to the point of solving some programming related issue. But this topic I came to my mind because I was going through some podcast and where I saw that like most of the people, like podcast people, are from IITs or IIM or maybe MITs and all, and they are doing the podcast with investors and all. So who are, as a point of view listener, there will be a mindset like, okay, I am not from IIT, I'm not from MIT, so I might miss something. I just try to give my opinion on that video. Apart from that, just go and check my channel. It is I'm doing mostly on web development and all. So currently it's most has Angular related content, but in future I might go and uh, create tutorial on full stack development, backend, and everything. So have a look on that. And I think
Awesome.
we will add the link in the show notes so you can find it there.
All right. Awesome. Well, also check out the specific
Yep.
video that Subrat did on this topic, which right now is the latest video that he posted in his channel. But he's always posting a lot of stuff, so maybe there are new videos there too by the time that you access his channel. And in my case, I'm simply gonna pick my company again. So one thing that I have never talked much about, because this podcast is so specific to Angular, I always position my company as simply being a web design, web development services company focused on Angular, because that's what I think would the part of the business that would make more sense for the audience of the podcast. But truthfully, we are much broader than that. We are actually a venture studio. And what that means is we help entrepreneurs, business owners to create tech
Mm-hmm.
companies. So our product is actually creating a company, not just creating a system. So of course, there are going to be clients that they already have a business and they simply want help in the development process. There are clients that are going to want help in the design process. But if there is somebody that simply has the idea and they have the financial means, or at least the investors backing it up, and they need help to actually bring this idea into life, that's something that we do. That's actually our core thing. We do the entire discovery process, including business strategy and brand strategy, and then the visual identity and verbal identity and naming of your business, to then go to this design process which includes the entire customer experience, user interface, prototyping, and animations. And then we go to the development process, which is going to include everything that we did in the design process. So there's this entire spectrum of things that we do that I have never went very deep in this podcast because I wanted to focus more on the web development part of it. But I wanted to make this more clear from now on because maybe you who is listening to this podcast, maybe you find yourself in a situation where you know somebody or you are somebody that wants to build a tech company, but you want help much more than just doing the development. Maybe the development is fine for you. The problem is in the branding, in the business strategy, is in the design, is in the marketing. So that's all things that we can help you with. So if that is of your interest or of the interest of somebody that you know closely, then go to unvoid.com. And from there, you can contact me directly and we can do a meeting so that I can understand your needs and see if I can help. And if I can't, I'm going to point you in the right direction. All right. So, yeah, that's going to be my promo for today. I think that's
Yeah,
all.
that's all.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, thank you for sticking up until the very last moment. We have very, very long episodes, and I appreciate all of you for really sticking to the end. And yeah, again, thank you, Subrat, too, for your time and for all the view that you brought up in your experience.
Yep.
And we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys. Bye bye.